Hello everyone. Let's talk about coding, right? So, Kodiri, August and September Bootcamp is the first time we are talking about that, and it's the last time we are presenting this website. We are destroying it. We are switching to a new one with lots of pictures, animations, and things like that. Yeah, explosions, maybe not a good idea. Anyway, so today I would like to present the next cohort that will start on the 5th of August. We'll be talking about coding, generally speaking, right? Why coding is not the future. We used to say it's the future, but not anymore, right? It's the present. It's the present. So, what can we talk about today? Let's check. So first of all, the remote control is not working. That's not good. It's not a good starting. Let me try again. It doesn't want to work. It doesn't want to work. That's fine. I'll do that. So, what's that? What's Kodiri? So we are a company running bootcamps, with many differences to existing bootcamps. We'll see what sort of differences are we talking about. Bootcamps, generally speaking. So the main difference, probably, we are project-driven. What that means? Some of you have been running online courses, right? JavaScript, CSS, HTML. We don't do that like that. From the first day, from the first minute of the first day, we start creating professional applications. Our focus doesn't turn around the idea of week number 1, let's learn HTML, week number 2, let's learn CSS. For us, that works against motivation. From the first day, we start creating user interfaces. We start creating apps. Obviously, as part of that process, we'll need to learn coding. We'll need to learn which technologies, frameworks, languages, methodologies we need to apply in that particular task in order to achieve that requirement. We got some business analysts today here, right? It's about requirement gathering. So we talk about all these things. Let me show you an example. You know Netflix, right? So our very first activity on the bootcamp is to create an app similar to Netflix. Why Netflix? Because it's something everyone knows, it's something everyone likes, more or less, right? More or less. So that's the thing. We essentially create an app. That's a universal app. We'll see in a minute what that means, where we display a list of TV shows and we can navigate, we can search movies, we can play trailers, all these things, Codeflix, combination of Netflix plus Kodiri. Talking about universal apps, does anyone know what a universal app is? That's correct. If you have Facebook or Twitter or Meetup applications, you probably notice that the content, the technology changes from one device to the other, right? If I go to facebook.com on my laptop, it's HTML, it's JavaScript, but if I install the app, it's probably a native application, right? That sounds cool, but it has several caveats. Facebook has many teams maintaining the same features. In other words, if Facebook tomorrow wants to add a new feature called Find Friends Nearby, I don't really know if that's supported or not, but if that's not supported and they want to introduce it, they need to create the same functionality many times, which is not efficient at all. So that pattern is dying. It's still there, but it's dying. So the new trend in coding is what big companies like Amazon started doing a few years ago. So Amazon said, hey, wait a minute, if I want to search to find friends nearby, why do I need to build the same feature in 7 different teams? A team for desktop, a team for Android, a team for iOS, a team for iPad. That doesn't scale. So what Amazon did is, wait a minute, we have JavaScript. JavaScript is the most popular language in the world. Does anyone know why it's the most popular language in the world? Is it easier to learn? Is it more performant? Is it faster? Is it more robust? Is it more scalable? Is any of that? No, it's none of that. Fair enough. I like the idea. It runs front and back. I like that. You mentioned the keyword browser. In 1995, web browsers weren't that popular. You have been using the internet for a while. You remember things like Netscape, all these things. So in 1995, no one felt that the web browser was going to be as important as it is today, except JavaScript. JavaScript was the only language to get married with a web browser. It was something like weird, right? You know how long it took the first version of JavaScript to be written? How many days the author of the first version of JavaScript needed?
2 weeks.
It was 2 weeks. 10 days, excluding the weekends. That's true, right? That was very, very small, very, very small. But the thing is, the web has evolved massively, and as a side effect, the browsers have evolved. And as a side effect, JavaScript is everywhere. It's in the laptop, it's in the smartphone, it's in the tablet. That's why JavaScript became so popular, because you can build something, whatever you want, and then it runs everywhere. It's about efficiency. JavaScript. And of course, when we talk about JavaScript and friends, there are some technologies around JavaScript that we cover in the bootcamp. So, for instance, I'd like to talk about React. Does anyone know what React is? No?
It's a library of JavaScript.
It's a library. That's fantastic. I love that. It's a library. Some people said it's a framework. There are big discussions. When I attend a conference, there are like two groups. People thinking React is a library. People thinking React is a framework. Big discussions. No, it's a library. It goes beyond the scope of the session to explain the differences. But anyway, React is the most popular JavaScript library in the world. It's the most popular library in the most popular programming language.
Is it more popular than Angular?
Yes, it's more popular than Angular. I was one of the first Angular developers in the world back in 2011. I participated in many international conferences about Angular. And today I'm doing React. So yes, today is more popular than Angular. So who is the owner of React?
Facebook.
It's Facebook, correct. Who is the owner of Angular?
Google.
It's Google, that's correct. So there was a big fight between the Americans to have the kingdom of JavaScript. Whoever controls JavaScript dominates the world today. Sounds big words, but these companies, they know that, and they invest billions in these things. However, now they have a new rival. Do you know which library is trying to fight with React? It's Vue. It's Vue. Who is behind Vue?
Some new guys or something?
Say again?
I don't think it's a big company.
There is, officially speaking, there isn't any big company, but there is a big country behind, which is China. So by the first time since 1995, there is a non-American library trying to get the control on the internet, which is Vue. And they are doing really well, to be honest. We don't do Vue here because in Europe and the US, the majority of the job opportunities are about React. But if you are planning to move to China, or somewhere around, Vue could be a good alternative. That said, one of the good things about modern JavaScript is that today the libraries are somehow similar. So once you learn the first one, learning the second one is easy. Moving from Angular to React was a pain in the ass, was horrible. But today, fortunately, it doesn't happen anymore. Right, if you're still a bit skeptical about the power of JavaScript, let me show you some examples. Imagine that you want to buy a new family car, right? Look at what the French did. This is 3D JavaScript. That runs in the browser. I didn't have to install anything. It's all web-based. I can look at the car, check from the inside. It's pretty awesome, isn't it? So the industry is crazy to hire JavaScript developers because of these sort of things. If you had to install some software, probably you'll pass. Well, I need to install an application to see the car. But if it's just one click away from Google, why not, right? Let's have a look to it. Actually, this has some sound. I don't know what the sound is. So yeah, so we can look at the car, we can, here you go, we can change the lighting conditions, day and night, and we can start the engine, right? JavaScript, 3D JavaScript. That was the first example. Then VR, very trendy, right? VR, Oculus, all these things. So JavaScript is having a big impact on VR. Again, because it runs everywhere, right? So imagine that you start working as a JavaScript developer, you join us, you get a job, you start making a lot of money, and one day you want to retire in somewhere in the coast. So you can configure your apartment, again, using 3D. So this is not VR, because this doesn't support VR, but I hope you get the idea with some VR glasses. You can look around, you can even interact with the furniture. I think that's pretty awesome, right? How much you can interact with the elements. I'll show you my favorite one. Look at the sofa. Look at the lighting conditions, guys. I think it's pretty cool, right? It's pretty cool. JavaScript was nowhere 10 years ago, and look at what it is at the moment, yeah? To prove my theory, let's try to run this example using my tablet. See if it works, yeah? Again, this is JavaScript, should work here as well, right? Should work on any device. Right, so you can see here, it works as well. You see the URL on top, there is nothing magic, just a web browser, and then I can interact with the elements. Yeah? Likewise, it will work on your smartphone as well. JavaScript. Last but not least, gaming. How many times your favorite game was released, you have an Android was released for iPhone or vice versa, and you had to wait 8 months until they, migrated it to your device system. With JavaScript that doesn't happen, because we can just run the game using a web browser. Free the game. We need to find the exit, whatever the exit is. There you go. It's simple, right? Nothing absolutely crazy, but hey, you can get items and then you got some enemies. All these things, yeah? Again, to prove the theory, I'm not going to use my tablet, I'm going to use my smartphone, right? See if it works. Show you. This game is public anyway, so anyone can access. It's a bit hard to see, but I hope you get the feeling that this game is literally the same. You see? The controls are different. I don't have a keyboard, I have a touch screen. But anyway, it's the same game running on multiple devices. I find this pretty awesome. So again, many opportunities on the gaming industry as well. Right, so on top of the coding aspect, we try essentially to simplify the process of getting a job. That means that here our students, they learn coding a lot. They learn a lot of coding, but they also learn methodology. Have you heard about Agile, Kanban, Scrum? No? Yes. So in 10 years ago, 12 years ago, if you wanted to create some software, you had to spend weeks or months writing down requirements, doing a lot of tests, preparing everything, lots of big documents, yeah? And then, after many, many months of investment, essentially you were releasing something that no one cared about, yeah? Because you didn't listen to your customers. Agile tries to simplify that. So Agile Manifesto says that don't invest too much on requirement gathering. You have an idea, do a small prototype, an MVP, deliver it, and listen to your customers. Based on their feedback, iterate again. Yeah? Agile. Every single software company in the world, and day after day, more companies that are completely unrelated to software, they have introduced Agile on their daily schedule, yeah? Because it has proved that it clearly helps to deliver content, services, or products in a more efficient way. We do Agile. We do many things. You learn many things like accident. We don't necessarily tell you we are going to learn Agile. No, it's part of the session. Yeah? Every day at 9 a.m. we have a catch-up. That's a standard session. This is part of Agile. Yeah? All right, so this is an overview about what we do in the bootcamp. So let's talk about people. So we target two types of audiences, and then you can see if you belong to at least one of these or not. First of all, new coders. Do you have some basic coding experience, or do you have some good coding experience in other languages? Do you think JavaScript is the future? That's for you, yeah? Also, we work with many business people who don't really want to code on a daily basis, but they trust our methodology and they want to set up a startup or they want to create some software, so they want to see the steps that we follow here to replicate them. These people is more than welcome, of course. A bit about me. My name is Ricardo. I'm the founder of Kodiri. I've been working with JavaScript since 2002. This is 17 years now. So I've seen how much the language has evolved. I've been working in many countries. People talking about my experience in the UK. So I worked for HSBC as a contractor, setting up all the new trading apps for different devices. Sky TV, all the players, you know, the Game of Thrones, Formula One, all these things. Yeah, in between I was lucky enough to be selected by Google to speak at one of their international conferences about Angular. Right. I'm not the only person here, well, I'm the only instructor here, but we also got Greg, which is another instructor, which is really, really good. We have a YouTube channel, if you don't know that, youtube.com/Kodiri, so I'll recommend you to subscribe if possible. That will help you, that will help us to continue doing these events. And we've got many workshops. Every day we upload at least one workshop of 30 minutes, yeah? So Greg obviously participates actively elaborating these workshops. And then, yeah, you can collaborate with many companies. So our students manage to secure jobs in many different companies. Yeah, obviously during the bootcamp we prepare you for the market. Not only technically speaking, not only from methodology point of view, but we prepare your CV, your portfolio. We'll listen to you. What do you want to do? Do you want to join a big company? Do you want to join a small startup? Yeah, we have a chat. We try to make the bootcamp as much individual as possible. And thanks to that, that works regardless of whether you start from zero or you have a good level already. Because we try to keep it as much individual as possible. Classic question, is there any requirement in the bootcamp? Not really. Motivation, attitude. Yeah, we all understand this is a big decision in your life. Yeah? You've been doing probably something else in your life and you're probably quite good at doing that thing. So now, seriously, we're going to start from the bottom again? Yeah? Coding is the most important discipline in the 21st century. Yeah? At some point, even to change the color of the lights in the living room, you need to do basic coding. If else, change color. Yeah? Coding is the new literacy. Yeah? You remember 50 years ago, whoever was unable to read and write had problems. At some point, not being able to write some if-else code will seriously give you problems. So, a bit about our methodology, our plans if you want. So we have 3 plans here. We have the evening plan, which is like the lightweight plan. It's 5 hours a week, 2 evenings, Monday and Thursday, where, you know, if you are not sure if coding is good for you or not, you don't invest much. Just spend 5 hours a week with us for 8 weeks, and then we'll see. And then we got the online plan. This is for people who is joining remotely from different locations or who needs a bit more flexibility on the timing, yeah? And finally, full-time. This is the most important, our most famous plan. So full-time means we work together here for 8 weeks, side by side, 40 hours a week, yeah? And this is the recommended plan in case you want to work as a developer, because we can certify you at the end. We'll talk about certification later. Right, many details about the plans, which I'm going to skip, obviously. Dates. We started the June and July bootcamp on the 3rd of June, so that means 2 days ago. Next cohort starts on the 5th of August, 8 weeks, 5th of August until the 27th of September, 8 weeks. 8 weeks. Some people say, hey, wait a minute, can we learn coding in 8 weeks? Can we get a this? The answer is yes. This is not what they think. This is what our historical records say. And you can say, yeah, but all that bootcamp they need 3 months, 4 months. Yeah. The thing is, here we really focus on what you need to get a job. Nothing else, nothing more. You need HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Node. And we do that really well. We think we do that really well. Yeah. I can show you emails of employers we work with saying, I don't know what you do there, but the average level of your student is way above the average. Yeah? Because we do one thing, we try to do it really well. Yeah. About the location, is what it is. Yeah? This is the building. It plays perfectly with our philosophy of offering a really affordable bootcamp. I'll go back to that point in a minute. Out of curiosity, that was the biggest warehouse in Europe in the 19th century. It was a biscuit factory, biscuits. Last year, they reopened it again. They got some investment from big companies like Red Bull and companies like that, some investment funds, and now they are trying to attract talent. Yeah. So there are lots of artists. This guy, he's super famous internationally. I never heard about him, but it looks like he's very famous. Goes to New York every week, these things. Lots of creators, startups. So it's not very posh, but it's vibrant, and we really like it. Yeah, of course, we got all the facilities, kitchen, ping pong tables, we got football, nice terrace. You'll see that in a few minutes. Yeah, all these things. So then, why you should have started to code yesterday? Well, that comes from the EU, right? We need so many developers. I can tell you something that happened to me when I came first to this country. I was living in Switzerland, working in fintech, and I used to receive many calls from the UK. Do you want to come here? I came here eventually, and they said, do you mind setting your phone number? So if there is a new opportunity, we'll call you. Sounds good, right? Yeah, okay, here's my phone number. In 2015, I had to change my phone number because of how many calls I got on a daily basis. That's a problem, but that's a good problem. I hope we agree on that. So I hope one day you have the same problem, right? We need many developers. Trust me, thousands of developers, not only in Europe, but here in the UK and of course in London, right? Right, let's talk about money, yeah? Now is where everyone opens eyes, right, and starts paying attention. So again, some figures that comes from PayScale, which is one of the reference in the industry about salary ranges. Be careful with that, because this is global salary in London about a software developer. Yeah, I don't have any statistics about React in that particular source, but I can tell you with some examples that in particular to the stack we work here, the salaries are much better, because it's what everyone demands at the moment. So here we are mixing demanded things like React, JavaScript with not that demanded things like COBOL, Fortran, and all these things. Yeah. So we work with several recruitment agencies, and they share some good figures about how much money you can get working as a junior developer. If it helps as a reference, so the companies we work with, it depends. To be honest, the range is very wide. It depends on the company. It depends on many things. Yeah, but generally speaking, the salary range of entry-level developer is between 23K to 250 a day working as a contractor. That's the first role. Yeah. In the long term, a senior developer in London, you can easily make 700 a day as a contractor. Working as a permanent, you can get 180,000, something like that. Yeah, it's good money. It's really good money. But on top of that, to me, the main advantage of coding is not the money, it's the freedom. It's the freedom, right? You can work from anywhere in the world. Yeah, one day, moving from 650 to 700 is probably not going to make you happier. Yeah, because probably all your needs will be sorted. But being able to work from Mexico, from Japan, or from wherever, that could make the difference. I got many friends working from many different places in the world. So if all these things are so exciting, why we still have people working on things that no one cares, and we still need so many developers? There are some barriers, some walls. First of all, learning barriers. You want to learn coding, what do you do, right? You're in a bootcamp, you go to uni, you do an online course. It's not always simple. Financially speaking, if you check the market, joining a bootcamp can be very expensive. I can tell you already here, we don't do any business, and that's one of the reasons why we became so popular in the bootcamp field. Network, unfortunately, sometimes you need the right contacts to start working as a developer, yeah? Still today. And last but not least, motivation. Some people like to learn online by themselves, but let's agree that some people, they need the, come here, go to a place, work with other people with similar level, yeah? This is not always that simple to achieve. Here we have that working environment. Yeah, so let's talk about how much. Once again, I will never get tired of saying the same thing. We are not making business, not compared to what we could do working as professional developers. We are trying to offer an affordable, very affordable alternative to commercial bootcamps. So, evening plan, 2 days a week, Monday and Thursday, it's just 400. Yeah, that's it. Simple, easy, cheap. Then we got the online plan, where you can join from anywhere in the world. You get all our support, but you are not here. Yeah, so it's about 8,000, a bit more than that. And finally, we got the full-time plan, which is essentially 40 hours a week here. Yeah, it's 1,500. Yeah. Also, FYI, as you can see, this is early bird. Early bird. That means that as soon as we got some places covered, the prices will go up a bit, just a bit, maybe 10-15%. Right, so we're finishing, but there is something very, very, very important I didn't mention. So how different Kodiri is. Let me start from the bottom. I'll leave the first point till the end. So from the bottom, first of all, experience. Yeah, I would like to share my experience with you as a senior software developer. That's the only thing I've done in my life, 17 years. Then, the flexible learning plans. We offer 3 different plans, so I think this is something relatively unique. And then, to me, one of the most important aspects to the way we want to tell you should trust us is thanks to the platform we have created. We have created an online platform where you can learn coding for free. So this is completely independent of whether you join the bootcamp or not. You can sign up and you can start playing with your coding skills. Let me show you. If you go to kodiri.com, actually, you will see a homepage like that. Yeah. So you see the play button. So when you click on the play button, you can sign up, and once you sign up, which is free again, you can start testing your skills, JavaScript, React, and user interfaces, HTML and CSS. We got at the moment about 700 developers on the platform. We are collaborating with many companies. Companies looking for talent, they got access to the platform so they can quickly identify where the talent is. Also, FYI, we are collaborating with few charities because we want to spread the word. We want to help people, unprivileged people, to learn coding. Yeah, Code Your Future. Code Your Future. So this is a British-based company that they work with refugees and stuff like that. Yeah, to help them to have a future. Yeah, so we are helping them, or we are trying to do some events with them so they can use the platform for free, of course. Yeah. Also, we're in touch with other companies in Europe, yeah, that do similar things. So that's part of our social aspect. That's what you essentially, one of the things you contribute by joining the bootcamp, yeah, because thanks to your participation into the bootcamp, we can continue adding new features into the platform. So let's do a bit of training, guys. What do you want to do? JavaScript, React, or UI? Let's do JavaScript. Fantastic. Just one question. You see, we got 3 levels of difficulty. Beginner, intermediate, and expert. And then, so let's select beginner. Obviously, you see that here you can train from the very, very basics to, expert. We target senior developers, contractors, team leads, rock stars. Yeah. We went to Amsterdam a couple of months ago and we did a big event with many, many senior developers in there. But for today, let's do only beginner. You can see it's a bit hard to see because of the contrast of the screen, but I hope you can see we've got different topics of beginner JavaScript. So let's do the first one, which is about building strings. So how this works. On the left-hand side, you got the requirement. You'll essentially receive 5 questions about that particular topic. Get welcome message. You are expected to create your very first JavaScript function. This is web-based, of course. Get welcome message. And whenever we invoke, we execute that function, it should return welcome to JavaScript. If that feels still too complicated, if that feels like speaking Chinese, we have resources and we have dedicated videos. So these videos are individual for every question, and they will drive you through the eventual solution. So welcome to JavaScript. On the right hand side, it's time to do some coding. Yeah, that's why we are here. So in JavaScript, we can return a message by simply typing return, and then with single or double quotes, we can type the message we want to return. Welcome to JavaScript. What do you think, guys? Do you think that code satisfies the expectation on the left-hand side or not? Look at the orange text on the left and on the right. Is it the same code? It looks correct, maybe? Oh, nice, nice. You're right. We are missing an exclamation mark. Imagine that we didn't spot the problem. So let's just submit it. Obviously, we can do a tour through all the different aspects of the platform. So you can investigate that by yourself later on. Let's see what happened when we evaluate it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Oops, you return welcome to JavaScript. We expect welcome to JavaScript, exclamation mark. Then hopefully we'll be able to solve the problem. So let's see what happens when we re-evaluate. Confetti time. Yeah, that means the solution is correct. However, do you think it's perfect? Not really. There is something missing. What? That's correct. Elegance console, semicolon. One of the reasons why there is a big difference, I believe, between our students and other bootcamps is because by accident, from the first minute, you start looking after standards. Linting. This is very important to write standard JavaScript to be able to interact with your colleagues. All right, no problem at all. Let's put the semicolon. Let's evaluate again. And then, no elegance issues. Now the solution is sexy, is perfect. That implies that this is question number 1. We can jump to question number 2. You get the idea, right? 5 questions about the same topic. I'm going to skip the following ones because I like to show you what happens when you submit the exercise. So when you submit the exercise, and this is pretty unique, we believe, you get a score. So this is a pentagraph. It's hard to see because of the contrast, but this is a pentagraph where we're evaluating how good your performance was. Tenacity, how many questions you've completed. Accuracy, how many times you submit and you fail. Speed, how long it took you to complete the challenge. Focus, how many times you went to Google to get some help. And elegance, how standard your code is. Yeah? Obviously, the score is not great. We skip 80% of the challenge. But it's what it is, right? And this is offline. This is for you. You can train at any time. And later on, we got something pretty interesting. Challenges. We've run about 200 challenges. A challenge is essentially an exercise where everybody here runs the same test at the same time. Why? Because at the end of the journey, we can compare the results. So look, for instance, I was talking about Amsterdam a minute ago, right? So let's see what happened in the Battle of Amsterdam in March. In that challenge, we got a good bunch of, 10, 11 developers, and this is the result. You see in here, we can inline, we can compare side by side how good each developer was running the challenge. This is anonymous. If you play the challenge, you don't know if you're the blue, the red, you don't know. Yeah? But that gives you the overview about how the challenge went. And of course, we try to make some fun out of it. So then we display the results, right? Who finished from the bottom, 8, 7, 6, all these sort of things. Yeah. So we use this tool actively as part of the bootcamp, and that's why our students progress that much. We can also compare the code side by side. I'm not going to ask you to understand this code, but just to give you the idea, right? On the left-hand side, you got the question, and then on the right-hand side, for each developer, you can see who was right, green color, and who didn't manage to find the answer. And not only that, look at this case. In here, these two guys, they managed to find the answer. They both are both green. However, the guy on the left-hand side had to write less lines of code. He followed a different coding strategy. So we love to compare different coding styles to see how much can we improve our styling. In the long term, once you've participated in challenges and all these things, you'll be somewhere in the leaderboards. Yeah? And again, this is one of the reasons why our students manage to get a job so easily. Because if an employer is looking for talent, this is not my feedback. This guy is good, this guy is not good. This is what the system is telling the industry. Yeah? You can see the sorted rank of all the developers, the best developers of the day, of the week. You can filter by technology, JavaScript, React, UI, level of difficulty, beginner, intermediate, expert, all these things. Yeah? And finally, the Hall of Fame. If that doesn't motivate you enough, in here you can get some global statistics. How many players we got, who is the best player of the day, of the week, of the month. You can even get statistics by country. Yeah, statistics by country. So actually the Germans, so this is one of the bootcamps based in Germany we started to work with. They work with unprivileged people. Yeah, so they will get full access to the platform. Same with India. So we'll start shortly to do events in India. And if anyone is interested, we are planning to open a branch in Colombia. So if anyone is interested to join the Kodiri family, let me know. Many statistics, right, about different aspects. So that's the way we've learned that our students get motivated to keep training, keep pushing. It's a sort of healthy competition, I believe. Yeah. So yeah, that's the platform. That's what I wanted to show. And yeah, that's pretty much it. On the website, we got many pictures about some of the events we've run. As I mentioned before, our meetup group is one of the most active ones in Europe. We got 4.5K members in 1 year. Next month, we have many big events in London. We have a coding party on the 2nd of July in a rooftop terrace. So it will be a good event, so feel free to join us. We have a big event with Oracle on the 17th of July. They will give good prize for the winners. So, you know, we try to stay in touch in the community as the way to prove that we really know what they want, right? Last but not least, if anyone is interested to join, you got the Book Your Place link. You enter your details, you select your plan, then you can join us. Because that's the first day we are promoting the bootcamp. Also, FYI, we are offering you a promo code, yeah? So whoever, we got 3 promo codes available left. So whoever books the place in the next 24 hours with that code, you can pass the code here, the coupon, then you'll get a 10% discount on the plan that you select, yeah? Also, we got a referral program. So if anyone else joins the bootcamp because of you, you got an extra 10% discount, yeah? Just to let you know that we are just simply trying to help with the finances, yeah? Because as I said, we are not making any business. Right, so we got 10 minutes. That was it from my side. So questions, what do you want to, you know?
Accreditation? What accreditation do we get? Sorry, certification.
Certification, yeah, that's a really good question. Let me show you something. Let me go back to the platform. You may have noticed that some of the players have a blue tick. That blue tick means that person has completed all the requirements of the bootcamp. We are talking about a bunch of technical requirements, a bunch of soft skills, yeah, like arriving on time to meetings, all these sort of things. If you cover all these requirements and about 85% of the students manage to get the blue tick, then you are certified. What that means, if I'm a software company with access to the Kodiri platform, to me, the guys with the certification, with the blue tick, will have some sort of preference, because that means that Kodiri has been working with them and we trust them. It doesn't mean that if you don't have the certification, you cannot you are not a good developer. So for instance, let me show you an example. So we got, let me zoom out. So Martin, I've never met that person. He's based in Slovakia, one of our strongest countries. Yeah, he's a really good developer. He's a really nice guy. But I know that he's really good technically, but I never worked with him, so I cannot certify him. I cannot tell a company, this guy is really good, he's always on time, he likes to help his team. Probably he got all these things, but we cannot certify that. Yeah. So with the blue tick, we tell the industry which guys are ready for the market from a hard and soft skills point of view. Yep.
After the boot camps, what sort of assistance do you offer in terms of improvement?
That's a really good question. So on the first half of the, so let me rephrase that. Our relationship doesn't start on the 5th of August. Our relationship starts since the time that you book your place. So when you book your place, we'll come back to you and we'll ask you to have a one-to-one session. We want to have individual setup for you, because everyone comes from a different background, everyone has a different expectation, so we want to build a profile around you. Yeah, we'll start working together. We'll recommend you some preparation tasks before the start of the bootcamp. Yeah, on the first half of the bootcamp, we'll mainly focus on the technical aspects. We'll try to build some muscles, some technical muscles. Yeah, JavaScript, React, HTML, CSS, Node, database analytics, all these things. On the second half of the bootcamp, even though the hard skills will be still very important, you'll be working as part of a team, so you'll think, you have a brainstorm session, you'll build an application, so you'll work on several activities, technical activities. We'll start preparing you for the market. In other words, we'll prepare your CV. No, it's not that we'll prepare your CV. You'll prepare the CV, but we'll review your CV. We'll make sure your CV is appealing for the market. We'll prepare the portfolio. Yeah, we'll prepare job interviews. Yeah, I personally, as an employer, I've interviewed hundreds of people in my life. I really know the questions that you are going to get at the end of the bootcamp. Yeah, to be honest, it's not like we're going to have one day a workshop about job interviews. No, that's an organic part of the program. Every single day we'll be running 2 workshops about particular aspects of coding, JavaScript, arrays, objects, deployment, cloud, databases, whatever. Yeah. As part of these workshops, whenever we focus on something that is relevant on a job interview, we'll highlight, like, guys, difference between an object and an array, for example, in JavaScript. This is part of a job interview. Write it down, because you'll get that question. Yeah. So on the second half of the bootcamp, we'll mainly focus on preparation for the market. And after the bootcamp, 2 things will happen. From our side, we'll forward your CV to the companies we work with, in case they are interested on hiring someone. Yeah, that's one thing. From your side, we'll obviously recommend you what to do to get a job. Yeah, we have a bunch of guidelines, what to do and what not to do, especially in regards to platforms like LinkedIn, attending meetups, all these sort of things. Yeah, and of course we'll support you. We are in touch with people who finished the bootcamp 1 year ago. Why? Because they got a job, but after 1 year, maybe they are thinking about moving somewhere else. Yeah, because they got obviously stronger. You know, your salary as a developer can easily rise 15-20% every year. Yeah, so we are always helping people. I'm more than happy to help them. Yeah, so yeah, it's not like a 2 months relationship. So that starts at the time that you sign up, and it never ends, right? So you'll get access to all the communication channels, email, Slack. Does anyone know what Slack is? Slack is the professional messaging tool that the companies out there use, right? We use Slack here from the first minute of the first day. So of course we'll stay in touch, you know. Yeah.
Do you get access to the videos as in for live, or is it just for the duration of the course?
The videos, yes. So there are many different types of videos. First of all, we got the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is public. This session is being recorded, so it'll be available immediately on YouTube. Everyone can access these sessions. The difference is, if you're a bootcamper, It's not only that you can watch the videos, but you can participate, you can ask questions, we ask you questions, so it's a way more interactive session. Also, on top of that, for boot campers, we got a bunch of professional video workshops. So these videos are private for boot campers. In here, we explain things like how to set up a React application from scratch. These things that you don't do often, right? You set up an app, and until you don't work on a new app, you don't work again on that, and you completely forget, right? How to set up an application, how to set up your GitHub to upload your code, how to work with many different aspects of coding. So these videos are private for the bootcampers. Short videos, 5-10 minutes each, but they go to the point, strictly speaking.
And how many projects do you create?
Good question. That's a good question. We create, generally speaking, 3 projects during the bootcamp. The first month, Codeflix. You remember Codeflix? So we have a backlog of tasks that will guide you through the process of creating a professional app. How to add images, how to navigate, how to deploy the app to the cloud, AWS, Heroku, Google Cloud Platform, all these things. How to get analytics. How many customers do we have? Where do they come from? Where do they go afterwards? All these sort of things are part of Codeflix. That's the first half of the bootcamp. On the second half of the bootcamp, we work on the team app. So again, all the students will think about an idea. So you'll take the responsibility to think about an idea and to develop it on the second month of the bootcamp with our help. Yeah? FYI, it could be the first time that a team has developed an idea and then they got hired to continue working on the idea. That happened literally here. One team developed an app to create a booking system for co-working spaces. And it turned out that this building, they needed an app to book special meeting rooms. Yeah. So they've been working for a few months, literally working on the idea that they created, they developed, and of course getting paid and getting commercial experience, which is the most important thing. Yeah. So Codeflix, team app, and then we got the portfolio. So the portfolio is an active part of the learning plan. We want to make sure you have a nice portfolio, you have something appealing, something that the industry likes. Yes. And of course all the training and coding challenges. How big? Yeah, we accept up to 15, in worst case 16 people, but never beyond 16 people. Yeah, because we are not making business, we prefer to have a small group, but efficient, individual. Yeah. And when we talk about 16 people, that includes on-site, full-time, and online. In other words, if we got, for instance, 10 people here and 6 people online, that's it. We don't accept more people. Yep.
So, like someone like myself, who also have a coding background as well.
Yeah.
And I've used a program with you.
Yep.
So obviously my CV will be like
Yeah.
your coding background from the start. So I mean,
that's a common thing, right? That's a common thing. Everyone is expert in something, right? And then suddenly you start coding. So we're used to work in that scenario, and what we used to do is we try to emphasize the coding aspect. So for instance, when we talk about the CV, we always recommend, first of all, summary about yourself. And that part is very important because we explain that even though that's true, we don't have any commercial experience, first of all, we are super motivated, we are keen to learn, we are active on the social media, we are blah, 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 blah. So it's about the motivation. Don't forget something. Once you get your first job, it won't be, strictly speaking, because of your skills. Because you'll be a junior developer, yeah? You'll be working with people with years of experience. So you'll have enough skills to start working, but obviously less than your colleagues, yeah? But the reason why the company will hire you is because they are essentially investing. They need to see something. On top of the technical skills, they need to see some attitude towards learning, yeah? And these are the sort of things that we'll remark on the CV. Yeah. First of all, attitude, motivation, and of course, technical skills. You know a few things, that's true, but the things you know are really demanded and are helpful for the company.
What sort of level would you be after the evening and online program compared to the full? And is the evening online just a subset of the
It is a subset. It's a subset. We share the same resources. You get access to all the material, all the videos. But let's be honest. Evening, 5 hours a week. Online and full-time, 40 hours a week. Yeah. So to me, evening makes sense in two scenarios. Scenario number one, you are not convinced about coding. You don't really know if you are going to like it or not, to be honest. So instead of spending 40 hours a week, just a couple of evenings, let's do a bit of coding, let's have a good working environment, and then we'll see. If you like it, fantastic. If you don't like it, you haven't wasted too much money and too much time. That's scenario number one. Scenario number two is you got a lot of spare time, So even though we'll be here only 5 hours a day, 5 hours a week, in reality, in your spare time, you can keep working on code fleets, you can keep training, you can keep doing things. That will help you to maximize the productivity of your 5 hours here. If you don't belong to any of these two scenarios, and you want to get a job, which is what the majority of the people is looking for, to me, to be honest, the full-time is the right choice, because it's where we are going to work together and we are going to make as much pressure as necessary on you to make sure that we achieve your expectations.
Roughly how much extra work would we be expected to do outside the classes?
On the full-time, 0. We never ever ask anyone to do any work beyond the working hours. I strongly believe on productivity. If we work hard 9 to 5, that's it. I'm not going to tell you don't do anything, but it will never go beyond the scope of the working hours to do any extra work.
And the evening online?
Online, that's the same thing. On the evening, it depends. Do you want to get a job? If you want to get a job, you'll need to work a lot beyond these 5 hours. Let's be honest, right?
What's your success rate been for the last bootcamp that was completed?
The successful rate. Well, the last one is the one we finished on Friday. So I cannot give you statistics, but we can talk about the previous one, right? Because we do have data about the previous one. So far, about 80 to 85% of the students, they got the blue tick. That means they achieve all the expectations that we offered. When we talk about the blue tick, we are talking about things like finishing the intermediate training. And FYI, you don't need to do that, necessarily speaking, during the 8 weeks. We got people who got the blue tick 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month after the bootcamp. So you'll have access to all the resources. So if because of whatever reason anybody is unable to satisfy any of the requirements, it's not the end of the world. We'll keep supporting you. You'll be more than invited to keep joining us at any time. Yeah. So we're talking 80 to 85% of people getting the blue tick. Yeah. And then out of this 80 to 85, how many people managed to get a job? We're talking about everyone except one person. Everyone except one person. Yeah. So it's about so far 30 something people. Yeah. And we really know why that person didn't manage to get a job. It's one person who really managed to satisfy all the requirements. So he cannot complain, to be honest, but had a strong, very strong soft skill issues. We had a chat because we managed to secure many interviews with that person. So it's been in the loop, it's still in the loop. We're still helping that person. But for us, it's very complicated because there are things that we cannot amend in 2 months, like education, background. I had a chat with employers and like, okay, can you please be honest? What have you seen on that guy? Because technically speaking, it's really good. And one of the employers based in no, I shouldn't say that. Well, one of the employers said, I don't really know if that person wants to get the job or not. It's attitude. If you go to an interview and you don't have the energy, you don't have the motivation, towards the employer, it's very difficult to trust you. Yeah? It's a soft skills problem. Yeah? So from a hard skills point of view, yeah, no problem. You essentially, if you get to that level to get a job, essentially you learn like that. So you're going to learn way more than what you need.
Besides that one person, how long does it take everyone else to find a job?
Yeah, on average about 2 months. Yeah, on average about 2 months. Could be 1, could be 3, but on average 2 months. Yeah, I think with we got some gender, statistics by gender. With girls it's a bit less than 2 months. It's 1 month and a half. And with boys it's 2 months and 1 week or something like that. Yeah. Why? Something. Yeah. We can have an entire session to discuss that. Yeah. I'm just talking about the figures. I'm not arguing whether that's good, bad. No. It's the figures. I mean, it's not like a big difference, like 1 week against half a year. No, it's just maybe a couple of weeks less. Yeah. Anything else? No?
How do you do these boot camps?
How what?
How often do you do?
How often? So generally speaking, once we finish the bootcamp, we leave 1 to 2 weeks until we start the next one. This case, by the first time, it was an exception. So we finished on Friday, and then we started literally on Monday. Yeah, it depends on the calendar, depends on few different availability, depends on different aspects. Yeah, but generally speaking, we keep doing. Yeah, keep doing. As far as people is interested, yeah, that's fine. We'll continue doing the bootcamps. Yeah. Anything else? No? What time is it, guys? Right. I think the pizza should be arriving shortly. So let's do something. Let me stop recording. That's first of all.